that concludes a glorious weekend of Premier League action. What a Premier League weekend it was. There was so much that occurred, so much to get our teeth into, and now I am buzzing to see what it all means. This is the beauty, isn't it? Once you see the action, now you try and decipher the point of it. You try and work out exactly what the ramifications are of what we witnessed. I mean, the weekend undoubtedly belongs to Arsenal, but I feel like the focus point needs to be on Liverpool. We need to talk about Liverpool, don't we? We need to talk about what's going on. Why is it not clicking? Why is it going wrong? What is Arne Slot getting wrong? What's happening with the personnel? There is so much to dissect when it comes to Liverpool and solving their current issues. And I think that's what we really need to get our teeth into. I don't know if you would agree with this, but I have seen some ridiculous suggestions regarding the way that Liverpool fix their team. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen people being very snide about Arne Slot, which I just don't understand. Like, the man is a genius. Everybody is so quick to forget. Like, the current trend of modernism in football, everybody immediately just remembers the most recent thing. So Arne Slot had a bad week. People are saying he's not the man that we thought he was. I'm like, are you mad? Are you completely missing the point? Arne Slot is a genius. Arne Slot is the governor. Arne Slot is one of the best managers in the world. I think it is absolutely ludicrous to suggest that there is any issue with regard to Arne Slot. It just does not make sense to me. The first super chat of the day has landed, by the way, and it goes to Charlie Knight. Congratulations, Charlie Knight. You are first. Charlie Knight is saying that Arsenal are going to win the league. I mean, something fairly significant happened over the weekend. I don't know if you saw this, and I'm not talking about the football. For the first time in absolutely ages, the bookies who very rarely get it wrong, the bookies agreed that Arsenal are favourites for the league. The bookies suggested that Arsenal will win the league. The bookies who spent so much time, so much money, so much focus, so much resource on working out who they should prioritise as favourites for the league, they have said that Arsenal will win the league this year. It's the first time that they have said that Arsenal will win the league since Arsenal, you know that game when Arsenal lost to Unai Emery's Aston Villa, not to win the league. I think Arsenal were favourites for the league that year, but not since then. Not, when I say that year, not for the entire year. At that very precise moment, they were favourites for the league, and they sort of imploded. But I am very surprised that the bookies are already turning their back on Liverpool, because I just don't agree. Do you know what? This is quite an interesting point. I did a radio show last night. The reason that I couldn't cover it on this channel, which was a heartbreaker because I love the community that we're building here, but the reason that I couldn't cover it is because I do a radio show in London Bridge on TalkSport. I've got a radio show on Saturday nights, so I couldn't immediately come live to talk to you, which is why we're going live now. I love doing these like post Sunday game lives, and what I found amazing is a phone-in show. People are phoning in. This is serious, I spoke to 11 Liverpool fans. 10 of those 11 fans said something that blew my mind, including, do you know who I spoke to last night? Paddy Pimlett. You know Paddy the Baddie? Paddy the Baddie phoned up the radio show that I do. I spoke to him. I had him on the phone for 5 or 6 minutes. I was talking to him and to his mate, and they spoke really well. They'd been at the Chelsea game. They were on their way home. They were on their way back on the M62 to Liverpool off the back of watching Liverpool get beat in the last minute at Stamford Bridge. And they agreed with this, and 10 of the 11 other Liverpool fans that I spoke to agreed with this. And now what I'm going to say, I think it will blow your mind if you're not a Liverpool fan. Liverpool fans were totally in agreement that Mohamed Salah needed to be dropped. Now that to me blew my mind. Like I think I could write a list of 15 ways to fix Liverpool. 15. I could write more. I could write 20. 20 things that you could tweak at Liverpool to fix the current situation that wouldn't impact Mohamed Salah's place in the team. At no point, whatever you say the answer is, whatever you say the problem is, I would never say that the answer is getting rid of Mohamed Salah. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I couldn't believe that so many people seem to be suggesting that Mohamed Salah needed to be dropped. There was different reasoning for it, different rationalisation of it. Some people were phoning up and saying Mohamed Salah needs to be dropped to make a statement. He needs to know that his place is in jeopardy. He needs to know that he needs to perform. Some people were saying he needs to be dropped because he's not good enough for the team. Some people were saying he needs to be dropped because he has lost that burst of pace. Some people were saying that he needs to be dropped because there are better players in terms of the harmony that Liverpool can play. And some people were saying that he's simply past it. I would say now, and look, football is a beautiful thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful It's a beautiful opportunity for us to all have an opinion, and that is why we love it so much, right? The ebb and flow of footballing opinion. It's amazing. But I genuinely would say that there is not one thing that I agree with in terms of dropping Mohamed Salah. What I would preface this by saying, firstly, though, is if you're a Liverpool fan, if you watch Liverpool every week, if you go to Liverpool games, if you know Liverpool's history inside out, if you watch Mohamed Salah religiously week in, week out, you know more about the situation than me. I think that you always defer to the fans of the club. But anyone that is saying that Liverpool need to drop Mohamed Salah, it blows my mind. I would say that the kind of player that is going to get you out of this problem is Mohamed Salah. The kind of player that is going to help you find rhythm again is Mohamed Salah. The kind of player that is going to steer you back onto the right path is Mohamed Salah. The kind of player that is going to win you a league, help you retain a league, win you a European Cup, as he has done time and time again, is Mohamed Salah. And I would say that every single football fan watching this video will have an example of a player that is Mohamed Salah. So for me, my version of Mohamed Salah is Frank Lampard. When things were going wrong at Chelsea, the answer was never drop Frank Lampard. When Frank Lampard had had a goal drought, he'd gone 3 games without a goal, 4 games without a goal. He'd started the season slowly. The answer was never doubt Frank Lampard. Never drop Frank Lampard, never doubt him. If you're an Arsenal fan, never would you say, drop Dennis Bergkamp. Never would you say, drop Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry on a bad day. Thierry Henry in a goal drought. He is the reason that you will get back on track. Now, I would argue that Mohamed Salah will come good. I still believe Liverpool will win the league. And I believe that if Liverpool do win the league, Mohamed Salah will be a big reason as to why. But I hold my hands up. Like I say, I spoke to a swathe of Liverpool fans yesterday. A lot of them driving home from the game. And they were all saying, virtually all of them, including Paddy the Baddie, they were saying, it's time to drop Mohamed Salah. What do you think about that? This next super chat has just landed, by the way, and it is from the real Dwayne Dibley. Nice alliterative name there. Slots plan, Arsenal as the favourites. What, you think that bodes well for Liverpool, do you? Yeah, I can see a rationale to that. I can see a reason why Liverpool fans might like the idea. Liverpool fans might like the idea of Arsenal being favourites. It certainly puts pressure on Arsenal, and we have seen under Mikel Arteta's tutelage that Arsenal haven't always dealt with pressure well. So I think what Dwayne is suggesting there and saying that it bodes well for Liverpool, it's Slot's plan. Let Arsenal be favourites. Let the pressure be on Arsenal. Let Arsenal feel the pressure of Man City breathing down their neck. Let Arsenal feel the pressure of Liverpool breathing down their neck. Let's see how they deal with the pressure. I don't think it's a plan. I don't think that you've opted into that, but I do think that it could put a pressure on Arsenal that could be beneficial to Liverpool. Charlie Knight in the Super Chat says, if Arsenal stay on top and go on to win the league from now on, Chelsea will be partly the reason that Arsenal win the league. No, Charlie. Not this early. You know, you could make that argument if we beat Liverpool to hand you the league. You know, you could make that argument if there were... Do you remember when Tottenham played Man City? If Tottenham had beaten Man City 3 or 4 games before the end of the season. But this early, no. You can't trace it back to this. Surely not, Charlie. I see what you're trying to do. Also, it's not going to happen. Arsenal are not going to win the league. I'm convinced that Liverpool will still win it. The Resonant Evil says, Mohamed Salah was dropped literally the game before. What game was he dropped for? Are you talking about the game in Europe? I don't think that's so much a dropping. Also, I think there's a difference, isn't there, between being dropped and being rotated. What was being suggested to me, and I disagree, right? But what was being suggested to me yesterday was that he should be dropped, not rotated. There is a huge difference between dropping a player and rotating a player. Can I ask you a quick favour, by the way? Could you please like this stream? If you haven't yet, it really helps me out. And if you would be kind enough to just click like, it really would help me out. So please, just click like. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel and you're new around here, again, I would love to welcome you in. It really does help me out if you would click like and subscribe. Thank you both very much. Nid Joe is in the super chat and says, can you imagine coming every day at a training ground, watching empty places where Jota was sitting, every game in the 20th minute, his song rings around stadiums. Imagine being in their skin, reminding them. I mean, I think Virgil van Dijk spoke very articulately and honestly about this. And I think he was suggesting that whilst it's incredibly hard, he was suggesting that they could sort of use it as motivation. try and win it for Diogo. But of course I concede. There is an emotional aspect to this Liverpool team that we can't really process. There is an emotional attachment to this Liverpool team that, again, my brain is not strong enough to comprehend. And also my verbal command is not clever enough to do justice to the complexities of this situation. It goes beyond football. It's friendship. Like the image that will always stay with me is Andy Robertson at Cheltenham. They're just mates, man. That's just me and you at Cheltenham. Do you know what I mean? A selfie at Cheltenham watching the horse racing. So yeah, look, of course that is an impact. Of course that is a factor. But it's something that Liverpool have acknowledged that they just have to somehow process and steam ahead. And let's also be honest, it's not been a terrible start to the season for Liverpool. It's been a terrible week, but it hasn't quite been a terrible start to the season. Raul in the Super Chat, by the way, has said, be real, Rory, Arsenal will win the league. Do you know what? I really don't think so. I really don't think Arsenal are going to do it. I appreciate that there is a desperation in me that really doesn't want that to be true. And I also appreciate that Arsenal probably do have the best team in the league. I think there is a world where you could certainly define this Arsenal team as being the best team in the league. And that can be true, and Arsenal still not win the league. Because if you think about how Arsenal have behaved in the biggest games so far this season, Arsenal waited for years to be better than Man City. Mikel Arteta waited for years to be better than Pep Guardiola, to have a better team than Pep Guardiola. And what did he do when he went into the game? He hid. He cowered. He was scared. If Mikel Arteta had gone for the jugular and played his best team for more than 45 minutes, Arsenal would have won that game. So Arsenal would have had 2 points more on the board. Man City would have had a point less on the board. Things would have been very different. But we have seen examples this season already where Mikel Arteta has made a big deal of it. Now, look, Mikel Arteta is a young manager. He's a developing manager. He's a manager that I rate very highly. He's a manager that will be learning on the job, improving on a day-to-day basis. And maybe you use the evidence that occurred against Newcastle to suggest that he's learned and grown. Because against Newcastle, they were desperate to win. Against Newcastle, they were wily. Against Newcastle, they were on the front foot. Against Newcastle, they were desperate for the 3 points. And against Newcastle, most importantly, they were brave. Arsenal Football Club were brave. And then they followed it up with a professional victory against West Ham United. Has Mikel Arteta learned? Perhaps. But I would also say that we have already seen warning signs from Mikel Arteta that he is not going to get it right this season. But perhaps I'm wrong. Look, I do rate Arteta. I do think that he's a serious manager. I do think that he is capable of winning top-tier silverware. And I do believe that Arsenal could win the league. But I just think Liverpool are going to be too strong. Do you know why? Can I just tell you my reason, and then you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong? I believe that they will win the league simply for this reason. Ultimately, Wirtz, Isak, Salah click. And if it clicks, it's unstoppable. If it clicks, they win the league. Is that fair? Do you think this could happen? Is there a world where Salah, Wirtz and Isak click and they don't win the league? Or do you all agree that if they get going, those three, if the harmony is big between those three, there is no stopping Liverpool? So if you agree that if they click, they win the league, then it becomes a question of they win the league if he can get it working. Then it becomes about Slot. Can Slot get those three harmonising? I believe he can. I believe Slot will find a way. I believe Slot will work this out because ultimately, he is a genius. He is a genius. And, I thought he should have stuck to his guns. Like dropping Wirtz for the Chelsea game. I was delighted to see Wirtz not starting. I think ultimately he's going to be brilliant. And can I just flag something about Wirtz? People are being very snide about Florian Wirtz. People love to have a pop at him. If Mohamed Salah scores that chance about 10 seconds after the half-time whistle, 45 minutes, 10 seconds into the second half, my God, what an assist that was. What clever, balletic, poetic, beautiful, dancing manoeuvres was Florian Wirtz capable of there. Like, that was just beautiful. That wasn't football. That was a pirouette, man. And if you are capable of that, if you assist a goal of that magnitude to Mohamed Salah, if Salah puts that away as he should have done, it could have been a totally different result. And that moment is enough for me to say that Wirtz, Salah, Isak, Ekitike to a degree, it will all click. It will get going. And look, it's going to be difficult because the players that Liverpool have lost are kind of in their prime. You know, like Luis Diaz, wicked player, absolutely brilliant player in his prime. Darwin Núñez, however good you think he is, he's kind of in his prime. Wirtz, not quite in his prime. Ekitike, not quite in his prime. So you've brought in a young crew. But for me, there is just no denying that Mohamed Salah is a true great of the game. He is a true great of Liverpool. He is one of Liverpool's greatest ever players. He's one of Liverpool's record goal scorers. He will go down as a Premier League icon, a Premier League Hall of Fame. He has already scored more goals for Liverpool than the likes of Robbie Fowler, the likes of Peter Beardsley, the likes of Billy Liddell. Do you know how good Billy Liddell was? When Billy Liddell was scoring goals for Liverpool, they called them Liddellpool. Scored more goals for Liverpool than Roger Hunt. Scored more goals for Liverpool than Ian St. John. I believe Ian Rush's record at Liverpool, right, is through the roof. Most normal people would look at Ian Rush's record and go, nobody is getting that. Nobody is ever getting that. Ian Rush will be the top goal scorer of Liverpool Football Club forever and a day. I think Mohamed Salah, because of his brilliance, looks at that record and goes, maybe. I honestly believe that he might look at it and go, maybe I could get there. So when you think about Mohamed Salah, I just find it mind-blowing that Liverpool fans were phoning me up. Paddy Pimlet, Paddy the Baddie was phoning me up saying we need to drop Mohamed Salah. Is there anyone in the chat now that can somehow give gravity to that? Is there anyone in the chat now that can somehow give oxygen to that theory? Even if I disagree with it, let's debate it now. Can anyone come now and somehow prove to me that Mohamed Salah can be... Do you know what this is like? I feel like this is one of those things. You know when people sit and they put like a sign up in Speaker's Corner and they kind of go, right, this is what I think, prove that I'm wrong, convince me I'm wrong. This is what I think, convince me I'm wrong. This is what I think. If you believe that Liverpool are a better team or that Liverpool should drop Mohamed Salah, I think that you are totally missing the point and you know nothing and you're completely incorrect. If anyone, I'm looking in the chat now, can anyone convince me that I'm wrong? I'm looking in the chat now. Is there anyone there that can give me a reason to drop Mohamed Salah, that can rationalise it? Okay, someone has said it's easy but has said nothing. Arsenal have the best team in Europe. I don't disagree. I don't disagree that they have an amazing team. I do disagree that they will win major silverware. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Is there anyone? Should Liverpool drop Mohamed Salah? God, this poll here is split basically 50-50. 51% say no, 49%. So that means 49% of people watching this video currently believe that Mohamed Salah should be dropped. The furtherance of Liverpool Football Club is enhanced by dropping Mohamed Salah. I just don't get it. I honestly don't. I truly believe that Liverpool will get out of jail because of Mohamed Salah. Liverpool will win silverware this year, top tier silverware this year, because of Mohamed Salah. Not in spite of Mohamed Salah. I think he is inevitable. Absolutely. Can't drop him. We don't have a right wing replacement, but Chiesa needs more game time. Salah is stinking the place out. This is from the same person. Salah is stinking the place out, but can't drop him. So many people are saying can't drop him, but I think we all agree that you cannot drop him. The Resident Evil says it's not drop him, it's change it, rotate him. Okay, effectively it's the same thing though, isn't it? Just to explore this, effectively what you're saying is Liverpool would be a better team by not starting Mohamed Salah. Liverpool could make an interesting statement by not starting Mohamed Salah. I just don't think that can work at all. I really don't. I really, really don't. But from an Arsenal perspective, I mean, it is an amazing weekend. To go into the international break, the second international break, top of the league, is a statement. It's symbolic. It represents who they're trying to be. And Liverpool are in dire straits at the moment. I just believe that they're going to be all right. Can I change topic a touch? Can I ask, is anyone, when we discuss who's going to win the league or whatever else, is anybody talking about Man City? So Man City got another win today, another impressive win today. They are what now? 5th in the league. They sit 2 points behind Liverpool. 3 points behind Arsenal. 3 points behind Arsenal after 7 games played, having played them away from home. Is there a world where we have a 3-horse race? Is there a world where it could actually go 3-horse? Like I believe that it. I've just seen someone in the chat, by the way, go, Rory, what does Salah offer defensively? I don't know. What does Donnarumma offer offensively? It doesn't mean you don't play him, does it? Like, come on, mate. What are you on about? What does Virgil van Dijk offer offensively? Very little. What does Mohamed Salah offer defensively? Very little. But they both still have a place in the team, don't they? I cannot understand how anybody is truly exploring a world where we're going to be snide to Mohamed Salah because of his defensive properties. Like, this is what I love, by the way. This is genuinely what I love. This is the point of football, isn't it? Where we can articulate, we can flex our analytical football muscle and have these passionate disagreements. I truly, truly love this. By the way, if anyone is watching and hasn't yet clicked subscribe, do me a favour. Please click subscribe. It would be an honour to welcome you to this community. Oh, could you like the stream as well? Can we get to 200 likes on this stream? It really does help me out if you would be kind enough. Madness to rule City out there. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't think City will win the league. But if teams are going to look this shaky, if teams are going to look this shaky, Arsenal already lost this season, already drawn 1 this season. Liverpool already lost 2 this season. If it's going to be that sort of season where you win the league ultimately losing 5 games, then maybe Man City would be able to do it. Because Man City are capable of accruing, 85 points, 88 points? If that wins you a league, who knows? I tell you what, I watched the Man City game. Big win, important win, good goal, Haaland and all that. But my God, it was the worst game of football I've ever watched. I don't know if I've ever been more bored watching a game of football. I don't know if I can think of a game of football where, basically, literally nothing happened. Like nothing happened. If it wasn't for Erling Haaland, nothing happened. Do you remember when Pep Guardiola called Tottenham the Harry Kane team? Man City are the Erling Haaland team now, aren't they? They are so reliant upon our Erling Haaland. He is their heartbeat. He is who they are. He is everything about them. 18 goals in 11 games for club and country. 18 in 11. He's a joke, man. Absolute joke. Ian Silver says, what is your shirt brand? It's top note. It's my Gabici. Gabicci. I wear quite a lot of it. Gabici, Penguin. Yeah, they're the brands I lean towards. But yeah, no, mate, you're very kind. Thank you. It's sort of an old casual, very very popular at football for people who don't wear kits. Very popular at football, Gabici. But yeah, I do think it's very interesting how people are sort of talking about a world where Mohamed Salah should be dropped. I can't stop going back to it. Salah being dropped, to me, I know he's not playing well, but to me it would be like saying drop Erling Haaland. It really is that significant to me. It really is that much of a wild statement. Salah's not playing well, but you cannot do that. You just can't drop him because he can always pull it out of the bag. Look how bad Man City were today. Look how rubbish that game of football was. It's literally the worst game of football I think I've watched. There have been some terrible games about, right? But it is the worst game of football I've ever seen. Certainly the least inspiring. City were begging to be equalised, weren't they? City were rubbish. They were rubbish. They were pedestrian. They were off the pace. But when you have a player like Erling Haaland in the team, I mean, anything is possible. So it's very difficult to write them off. And also, sometimes football can be really simple, can't it? You've got Donnarumma and Erling Haaland. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible for them. So it will be very, very interesting to see how it can go. Let me have a look in the chat here. He can't run. Are we talking about Mohamed Salah? Rory, tell me. Why would you want to have a player on the pitch if they're not offering anything in defence? The only reason is if they contribute in attack. Salah isn't doing that right now. Mate, I have absolutely no interest. I mean this with respect. Alfie, sir, I love debating, right? This isn't meant to be rude. But when we're talking about Mohamed Salah, And there are a myriad of things that we could explore with regard to Mohamed Salah. So, for example, if you want to talk about Mohamed Salah, I'll talk about his devastating goal record. I'll talk about the chance that he might even eclipse Ian Rush's ridiculous goal-scoring record at Liverpool. I'll talk about where he ranks in the pantheon of Premier League players. I'll talk about what I believe he could do in this Liverpool team. I'll talk about how he's getting it wrong in this Liverpool team. Do you know what I can't talk about? I can't animate myself. I can't even muster up the energy or the knowledge or even the courage to debate this with you. I can't talk about Mohamed Salah's defensive properties. Like, I really don't care. Like, I really don't. When we start talking about truly brilliant attacking artists and then we start talking about their defensive properties, I think we're totally missing the point. Mate, this is mad angle. Like, brother, Alfie, pick a foot. I don't want to do Chelsea because everyone will think I'm biased. Okay, I'm going to do Chelsea. Gianfranco Zola. What did he bring to Chelsea's team defensively? Who cares? Dennis Bergkamp. What did he bring to Arsenal's team defensively? Who cares? Who cares? Like, mate, you are talking about one of the most devastating goal scorers in world football history. You are talking about one of the most clinical footballers in history. And now you're talking to me about his defensive properties. Mate, what angle are we taking here? What angle are we focusing on? Defensive properties of Mohamed Salah is a way in which we're somehow now giving him some grief. I don't get it. I'm looking for your comment. I'm looking to see if you replied here, Alfie. I mean, you and I could debate. I could easily debate the true brilliance of Mohamed Salah. But if you're going to take this on an angle of defence, I feel like I'm going to lose the argument. I really do. Like, you know, when you pick offensive players based on their defensive properties. I remember Gareth Southgate did it once for England. Gareth Southgate picked Bukayo Saka before Bukayo Saka was as brilliant because he had played fullback and he liked the idea of his forward players being defenders first. You know, when he had the option of playing Phil Foden or Jack Grealish or Raheem Sterling. This is years ago. And he picked Saka because of the defensive properties. I'm like, if you're picking your attackers on defensive properties, It's just baffles me. Ariane Farr in the super chat. You get a round of applause. Could everybody like the stream off the back of Ariane Farr's super chat? It's bang on. You would never drop Messi or Ronaldo. Salah is the closest thing Liverpool has. And you're right. You would never drop Frank Lampard from Chelsea. You would never drop Didier Drogba from Chelsea. You would never drop Dennis Bergkamp from Arsenal. You'd never drop Thierry Henry from Arsenal. You'd never drop David Silva. If David Silva was a little bit off colour, David Silva wasn't playing quite as well as he could. Do you think that he's ever being dropped? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So no, I just don't see it that way. I really do not see it that way. But I think that Ariane Farr has hit the nail on the head. You are just never dropped. Like, you know when I think back, right? There was a season when Eden Hazard was one of the worst players in the Chelsea team. It was the season, actually, when he stopped Tottenham winning the league. You know the season when he scored that amazing goal against Tottenham, the Battle of the Bridge, 2016. Eden Hazard was one of the worst players in Chelsea's team that year. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. History has kind of been rewritten. People don't want to talk about it. But you and I know, right? You and I know. Proper football purists, football historians, people who keep receipts. We know Eden Hazard was one of Chelsea's worst performing players that year. When Chelsea went into a must-win game, when Chelsea played a big game, we wouldn't dream of dropping him. We wouldn't dream of starting that game against Tottenham without Eden Hazard. Diego Costa wasn't good. Who scored the 2 goals to stop Tottenham winning the league that year? Diego Costa and Eden Hazard. Do you remember? Harry Kane put them 1-0 up and then they went mad. Danny Rose crying and all that. Do you remember? But yeah, you just can't drop him. You really cannot drop him. I think you could almost talk about dropping anyone in the Liverpool team, literally anyone, before Salah. Maybe not Van Dijk. Apart from Van Dijk, you could literally drop anyone. Alfie White says, you make a good point, Rory. At what point would you drop Salah? To clarify, how many games in a row would it take for you to bench him? I would never drop him. I would honestly never drop him. Whilst he is a Liverpool player, off the back of this contract that you've given him, he is your most mercurial, your most guaranteed goal scorer. Alfie, I just don't think there's a world where you drop him. I guess it gets to the stage, like the point I make about Hazard. Hazard was abysmal. But he did what we needed to do that season. That season, all we had to do was make sure that we beat Tottenham and lost to Leicester on the last day. We went to Bournemouth away that season. And I remember being down there, right? We went to Bournemouth away. It was the 23rd of April. I remember it like it was yesterday. All we did was sing, "You better beat Tottenham, beat Tottenham," because we were playing them 7 days later. That's all we did. At Bournemouth, we won 4-0, and all we did was sing about the following week about beating Tottenham. Hazard starts. You just can't drop your best players. Because also, it becomes a bit ridiculous. Because Alfie, do you know what I could say here? I could go, if he goes 15 games without a goal, you drop him. Or something like that. But he never will. He never will. Like, he's already got, 2 goals and an assist this year or something like that? It's not been terrible. 7 games in, not good enough. Not good enough. I'm not saying it's good enough. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not as bad as people are making out. The Butter Knight is in the Super Chat. Welcome, sir. And has said, I think Liverpool need to be more pressing. We've lost a lot. Losing Diaz and Núñez just don't look as passionate as last season. Yeah, I think there is an energy, like an overall energy thing. I think that there is something in that. But again, I feel like you will come good. I really do. I believe that Liverpool will come good. Whether they're good enough to win the league, I guess time will tell. I believe that Liverpool will still win the league. I said that Liverpool will win the league before a ball was kicked. I said that Liverpool will win the league after the 5 games that they won. I said Liverpool will win after they lost to Crystal Palace. And despite having a dreadful week where they have lost in Europe as well, I again am saying that Liverpool will win the league. Lots of people disagree. Lots of people are seeing a vulnerability. Lots of people are saying that Arsenal were good enough. But it wasn't that long ago that we were watching Arsenal drop points at Anfield, play very, very in an underwhelming way against Man City at home, when Man City were there for the taking, when it felt like Liverpool were there for the taking. They didn't go for the jugular. So, it's very easy now to kind of rewrite history. And that's why I feel it's weird that the bookies have made Arsenal favourites for the league. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority. But I do still feel like Liverpool are in a good position. But obviously, it was a dream weekend for Arsenal. Arsenal themselves, a very professional performance. Very professional, very expected performance. But my God, it was amazing what happened at Stamford Bridge. Like, I don't know how many times Arsenal fans over the years could have ever wanted Chelsea to win. It can't be many. Like, if you're an Arsenal fan watching Chelsea-Liverpool, you celebrated, I imagine, as much as I celebrated when Estevao scored that goal. Estevao, I like it, Like, it was amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. But when that ball hit the back of the net, I imagine Arsenal fans must have been going potty. If you're an Arsenal fan watching that, you must have been going absolutely wild, because it's exactly what you needed to make it the perfect weekend for you. The perfect day. You win a London derby, Declan Rice, old club, professional performance, off the back of winning in Europe. It's big, right? It's a big statement. Then you're looking at Chelsea and you're going, maybe, probably not, but maybe. And then we do it in the most dramatic circumstances. We do it in the way that you want us to do it, because it is a sucker punch to Liverpool. So from an Arsenal perspective, it is just the perfect weekend. Scoring goals for fun. What's that now? Averaging a goal, 2 goals a game. Not really conceding. When you think, I think somebody told me that Liverpool have conceded 3 times as many goals as Arsenal. And, if you believe in the old adage of defences winning leagues, that is a big stat for you. A super chat's just landed here from the Anfield Adder that says, Slot calls out players, must match his own bar now. Yeah, I agree. I think he would agree with that, though. I think he would agree. When we talk about calling out players, I haven't really got an issue with it. I think you need to do it professionally and you need to do it correctly. But I don't really have an issue with it. I think that we often overprotect players. We often say that players shouldn't be called out by a manager or whatever. I certainly don't agree with that. I think Slot basically handles things correctly, gets it right generally. Don't you? Do you believe that he gets it wrong? Can't really think of many examples. Now, when you think about managers getting it wrong, managers pressing the self-destruct button, there are countless examples. Whereas I feel like on a Slot last year, when he called players out, didn't he do it first day of the season? Remember against Ipswich? Do you remember against Ipswich? Who was it? Was it Joe Gomez? He subbed Joe Gomez at the beginning. Do you remember against Ipswich? Am I getting that completely wrong? But again, I feel like he handled it well, did it well, got it right. Ultimately, I don't think it's... I don't think he gets it wrong. But I also agree that if you are going to be the manager, in the way that Antonio Conte would call out players, you have to get it right. You have to match the standards that you demand from your from your playing staff. And I believe he will. I believe that he will. I believe that he will agree with that assessment as well. But it is an interesting point there from the Anfield Adder. Leonard Ricketts said, would you agree Haaland's better than Drogba? Don't be silly. Come on, sir. Come on. And then you've said, look at his goal stats. What I would ask you to do is use your own mince pies. Look at the way Haaland plays football. Look at the value of Didier Drogba in a football team. Look at what Didier Drogba did to Chelsea. Look at the elevation of Didier Drogba landing at Chelsea. Erling Haaland's not a better striker than Aguero, is he? He might have better numbers, but he's not a better striker than Aguero. Like, if we are talking about, sorry, you've let me know in the chat here, it was Kwanzaa. You're right, it was Kwanzaa. Oh no. Curie in the chat has just said he's miles ahead of Drogba. Oh God, no. Do you know, this is crazy. This is the craziest thing. This is when people allow the stats to totally formulate their narrative. Erling Haaland is not a better centre-forward than Didier Drogba. Erling Haaland is not a better big-game player than Didier Drogba. When Erling Haaland had the opportunity of winning, what was it, the FA Cup for Man City against Crystal Palace, didn't he hide from a penalty? Didn't he cowardly avoid taking a penalty to win Man City the Cup? The big stature centre-forward is hiding from a penalty. Didier Drogba, same situation, only a million times more pressured to win Chelsea our first European Cup at the home of Bayern Munich, against Bayern Munich, for London's first ever piece of European top-tier silverware. Didier Drogba has the opportunity. Did he hide? Or did he stand up tall? Sounded a youngster, dizzy rascal. What did he do? He stood up tall. So I just don't think that we can compare. We can't compare. It was an interesting debate. But if you want to compare Didier Drogba, you compare Didier Drogba to the very best strikers to have ever lived. You compare Didier Drogba to Sergio Aguero, Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney. If you want to compare Erling Haaland, you compare Erling Haaland to the likes of Darren Bent, to the likes of Marcus Bent. Calm it. I know you're going mad now. I know people are typing like mad now, going wild. But no. Come on. Didier Drogba would instill fear into the opposition. Erling Haaland... Did Erling Haaland score when Man City won the European Cup? No, it was Rodri, wasn't it? Did Erling Haaland score when Man City won the FA Cup? No, it was Gundogan, wasn't it? Did Erling Haaland score in the semi-final of the European Cup when they won? No. Come on. There are levels to the game. There are seriously levels to the game. Sam Dixon says, Arsenal have conceded 3 goals in 9 Premier League games. How are you, Sam? You are a loyal subscriber to this channel and I thoroughly do appreciate it. Can I ask anyone watching this who isn't subscribed, please do me a favour, click subscribe. Also, if you would be kind enough, please do like this stream. We might be able to hit 250 likes, which would really help me out. But no, you are right to focus on Arsenal conceding 3 goals in 9 games. Arsenal's defensive record is truly astonishing. And they seem to be getting it right. They seem to be getting it right at the other end of the pitch. Like, let's remember, Arsenal conceded less goals than Liverpool last season. The reason Liverpool won the league is because Salah and co outscored Arsenal. Arsenal are now scoring goals for fun. They have currently outscored Liverpool, I believe. They've currently outscored Liverpool. No, they have outscored Liverpool by 1 goal. But my God, Liverpool have conceded 3 times as many goals as Arsenal. And that is why Arsenal are favourites for the league. That is why people are saying that Arsenal are now favourites for the league. People are saying that Arsenal should win the league. And I am inclined to agree that Arsenal are looking in pole position. That Arsenal are looking like a side that are totally capable of winning the league. Whether they will do it or not is another question. It's another thing. I mean, I'm inclined to say that they can. I'm inclined to say that Arsenal are totally capable. I think that they have the best team, the best cohesive team in the league, and now they have to win it. Like, I believe that the pressure is on, and what we've seen from Mikel Arteta's men over the years is a capitulation when it comes to those pressurised moments. It's a real struggle when it comes to those tricky moments. Ultimately, don't get me wrong, I think Mikel Arteta has done a good job, and anyone who is snide about Mikel Arteta. It makes no sense to me. Like, you see big YouTubers, don't you? Big Arsenal YouTubers, like, not happy with him, suggesting that he needs to go, suggesting that he's getting it wrong. But I just don't see it that way. I appreciate that Arsenal fans, particularly Arsenal fans who know their club inside out, a lot of them who passionately speak about getting Mikel Arteta out, they have a far more intrinsic understanding of their club than I do. But equally, I feel like I know Arsenal. You know, I grew up in North London, from North London. My family's still in North London. I understand Arsenal. I know the history. I know who Charlie George is. I know who Herbert Chapman is. I know where the Herbert Chapman pub is. I know what happened when they played Tottenham in Manchester. I know all sorts about Arsenal Football Club. I have an understanding of who they are and what they represent, to coin a phrase of an Arsenal legend. But the Arteta hate, I just don't get it. I just can't rationalise it. And let me explain why. You know, when I think about Arsenal, I'm looking at Arsenal through the lens of negativity. I desperately want them to fail. I love the fact that they haven't won a Premier League title for over 2 decades. Far too many of my mates support Arsenal. I'm in a WhatsApp group, my football team WhatsApp group where I play. It's basically an Arsenal WhatsApp group. Basically an Arsenal fan group. But it's not ideal, right? The reason why I believe that Arteta is getting it right, deserves time and deserves more respect, is for this. Last year, they convinced me that they could win a European Cup. I've never really believed that Arsenal would win a European Cup before. Even when they were the best team in this country, I never really thought they were going to win a European Cup. Even when Wenger was at his very best, Chelsea knocked him out. Last year, I actually believed that they were going to win it, you know. Last year, I honestly believed that they were going to win it. And for that, I was worried, but I was also very complimentary about Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta created a world in which we had no choice but to accept Arsenal could win the league. And Arsenal could win the Champions League even more significantly. Like when Arsenal beat Real Madrid home and away, the big statement going away to Real Madrid, Bukayo Saka dinking the keeper off the back of missing a penalty. I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it. And that sort of change in my brain, I had to go, mate, Arteta's the boy here. Arteta's getting it right. So when I hear big Arsenal accounts saying, nah, it's not for him and they're not having him and that, I don't really get it. But what I would say is, he's got to do it this year because he's got the best team in the country and he's been there for ages. You know, in like the modern day definition of like getting a Premier League job and being a Premier League manager, mate, you just can't be a Premier League manager for more than about 18 months. He's been there for like 7 years. So yeah, I think the pressure's on. Let's see how they cope with the pressure. The Sheriff is in the Super Chat and says, would Xavi Hernandez be a success in England? Apparently he really wants a Man United job. I'm not convinced. I don't think he should take the Man United job. Like, I love Xavi. He's like a real legend of the game, isn't he? Like a genuine icon. Like a player that I rate so highly and was part of that most majestic midfield and an integral part of probably the best team ever assembled. You know, Roberto Di Matteo made light work of them, but they were the best team ever assembled. I just don't think he should take the Man United job, the Sheriff. Talking to you, mate, you just can't go to Man United at the moment if you are a top-tier manager. You just can't. Like, you know, for the managers, there are some managers that can never say no to Man United. You know, when people go, would Iraola go to United now? You're like, oh, mate, you're giving me a migraine. Of course he would. Would Oliver Glasner go to Man United? Of course he would. Would Marco Silva go to Man United? Of course he would. Of course you leave Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, West Ham. It doesn't matter. There are certain clubs in this country where if Man United come knocking, you basically have to go to them. But I don't think Xavi is one of those managers that desperately needs the Man United job. I don't think that he is in desperate need of getting the Man United job. His reputation, because of who he was as a player, because of what he achieved as a player, and because of his stint in management, he will get big jobs. He will get loads and loads of opportunity. And ultimately, I don't think he needs to take it. Would he be a success in England? I mean, I don't see why not. The man's a winner. The man is just a winner. You know, some people are just winners and they win whatever they do. Like, it's no surprise that Frank Lampard is slapping everyone up in the Championship. The man is a winner. Like, you've seen the week that Lampard has had. They won 3-0, 4-0 and 5-0. Beating Millwall away midweek 4-0. That is a massive, massive result. Absolutely real statement victory. The kind of statement victory that gets you promoted automatically. But it's no surprise that Lampard's doing the business. Good manager. It's no surprise. And I think that Xavi will ultimately be a really, really good manager as well. And I think that he could easily do it in the Premier League. Whether he should take the Man United job, though, I'm not sure about that. The Resident Evil says, live in the flesh, I saw Drogba, Henry, Suarez play. Haaland is not just one but levels low. He's just one bit level lower than... What the hell? I don't think the Resident Evil thinks that Haaland is as good as the three players that he mentioned. And if that is what the Resident Evil believes, he's completely correct. Didier Drogba, Thierry Henry, Luis Suarez, they don't play the same sport as Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is a wonderful striker. Best striker in the league at the moment. But come on. He doesn't play the same sport as the players that we just mentioned there. Absolutely nowhere near. Another super chat here has just landed, by the way. All Liverpool's L's are away from home. Feels like the openness in their game and lack of control allows the crowd to really get behind the opponent. Yeah, I mean, look, the away form is a problem. You are right, the ABLR. You are completely right. There are major problems there, and there are major problems with the amount of goals that are being conceded. But ultimately, I think Arne Slot is a good enough manager to get it right. This has been fun. I love going live like this. Can I ask you a massive favour? Please do click subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Love going live. Love these conversations. Thank you to all of you for tuning in, taking time out of your very precious Sunday nights. Always an honour to talk football with you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who's contributed. Before you go, drop a like on the stream, click subscribe, and I'll see you all in a bit. Ta-da!